Hey guys, it's Chris from Steeda, and today we're going to do a walk around and driving review on this 2020 Explorer ST. So let's dive in. All right, so a little bit different of a video than what we're used to here on the Steeda channel, but we're really excited. This is an Explorer ST. We've had this for the majority of 2020, but it's kind of lived down at our Pompano Beach location, but Dario has it up here, so I grabbed the keys. And I'm gonna take it for a spin. It's my first time driving an Explorer ST, so I'm really excited not only to feel what the Explorer ST feels like behind the wheel, but also get up close and personal with the new rear-wheel drive platform that started on these Explorers in 2020. The Explorer ST is equipped with a 3-liter EcoBoost V6, which is twin turbo, 400 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. It's equipped with a 10-speed automatic transmission, and this particular model we've actually upgraded with our Steeda lowering springs and rear sway bar. It's an inch drop all the way around. Really like the way this looks without taking away any of the ride quality that you get and the fact that you are getting an SUV after all. The rear sway bar is going to provide high-speed stability, and if you tow with your Explorer, it's going to help keep everything planted and eliminate some of that trailer sway that you're going to get towing a boat or what have you. Now, in terms of the look of the Explorer ST, I'm a big fan of this color. This is iconic silver. Historically, I'm not a big fan of anything silver, but iconic takes it to a new level. Those darker undertones that you get in the shadows of this color under direct sunlight, not so much today. You're really gonna see those body lines pop out, giving this SUV a really nice look. Now, in terms of the front fascia, all this black that you're seeing on the front of the car is stock. Now, the decal is something that we added here at Steeda, but outside of that, the black Explorer badging, the front grille, all the black painted accents, and on top of that, these smoked headlights really just give this car a mean look coming up in your rearview mirror. Moving on with the black theme, these 21-inch black wheels really give this car an awesome look, tying in well with the red brake calipers, really just bringing together the ST name in this Ford Performance equipped vehicle. Comparing things to the outgoing 2011 to 19 body style, the rear window does look a bit shorter in comparison. I don't know if that'll impact visibility, but we'll find out once we get inside. The taillights, however, love the C shape here. Not to mention those quad tips really just tie everything together and give it an overall modern look. Speaking of modern, let's hop inside, show you all the technology that Ford's included with the 2020 Explorer ST. All right, let's start this thing up. First thing I notice is, wow, lots of screens. It's funny, when I first got into a new Explorer, I saw the new screen here in the center stack, and I was like, oh, it's really big, you know, last year sitting in a dealership or whatever. But now that the Mach-E's coming out, that screen is huge in comparison to this one, and it's almost making this look small. But even so, it's much bigger than what I'm used to in the Mustang, and I think it's an awesome step in the right direction, really just bringing this modern technology all within arm's reach of the driver. The Ford and Ford Performance team did a really good job of making this SUV feel special when you get in. I mean, these carbon fiber looking, you know, textured plastic going all the way across the dashboard does look really cool. Not to mention this racing inspired steering wheel. Kind of have the handles here and the ST in the bottom. I mean, you're gonna get into this vehicle and know that you are in an ST and that Ford Performance had a hand in developing this vehicle. And keeping your eyes on the steering wheel, you actually have paddle shifters, which, you know, only make the driving experience that much more fun. You know, it's not a dual clutch transmission that you get in the GT500, but you know, in an SUV, that still makes things pretty fun, whether you're trying to carve back roads or you just want to downshift and pass that annoying car that's just going 5 under the speed limit. And moving on to the console here, Ford did include the dial drive selector or gear shifter, gear select, whatever you want to call it, here on the Explorer as well. It's been in the Fusion for a few years. They included it in the GT500. It was definitely a talking point there. Honestly, I don't really care. As long as I'm able to put it in drive and go, doesn't really matter to me. It does have an M in the middle, which looks like you're allowed to use the gear shifts on the steering wheel or the paddle shifters on the steering wheel to be able to drive it completely in manual mode. You also have an electronic parking brake. You have auto start stop with the option to turn it off. Park assist, you have your driving modes, which we'll go over in a second. It looks like you do have the opportunity to turn traction control off. I'm really happy for that because it's, you know, there's a time and a place, but you got to have some fun too. And it looks like hill descent control as well. So let's see what driving modes do. So moving on to the drive mode, this dial here on the center column, you're able to switch it here, and you got normal, eco, sport, tow haul, and go back the other way, slippery, trail, and deep snow and sand. Boy, you could have a lot of fun with this. Completely digital gauge cluster, definitely modernizes this Explorer. Eco mode, if gas mileage is your thing. It's not really mine. And sport mode. Oh, that's cool. So you're able to see your speedometer on the left-hand side with your tack on the right-hand side telling you what gear you're in. Obviously, I'm in park right now, I assume. We'll mess with it a little bit when we're on the street, but when you actually start shifting your own gears, I assume the P probably turns to whatever gear you're in out of the 10 speeds in this 10-speed transmission. Overall, pretty darn cool. Definitely feels special. I'm excited to take this thing for a spin. I don't want to forget about the center screen here. You obviously have the home screen telling you, where you are with the GPS. You have the option to connect a phone and your audio. Pretty cool stuff here. You can obviously XM just like any other Ford. You can connect your phone, navigation. This is where it's really beneficial to have a huge screen. You can zoom in or as far out as you want. You have different apps. You can connect with your phone. I think that's more catered towards Android devices. And then all the different settings as well. It's actually pretty darn responsive. I did not expect for it to be this responsive. Yeah, one thing I had about Sync, even Sync 3 in my 2018 Mustang, you have to wait a minute before you click different buttons, but this is pretty darn quick. That's impressive. You also have your climate controls. Mostly down here, you got heated seats, heated steering wheel, cooled seats, all the creature comforts you get with the sportiness as well. Let's take it for a spin. All right, so getting ready to take this thing for a spin. First off, I want to point out, key fob's kind of cool. It says ST on the back. This isn't your standard Ford logo. Again, just another reminder that this is an Explorer ST, pretty cool. I'm just pretty excited to give this thing a spin. I've always been a Mustang guy. My daily drivers of a little Ford Focus. But when it comes time for a family and, got a lot of stuff in the back and a lot of kids to carry and people to carry, it's gonna be awesome to have a vehicle like this where you have the best of all worlds. You have sport, utility, performance, and comfort as well, just all in one package. I am also excited to dive in and feel how these Steeda springs perform on the street and a couple little twisties as well. We've been selling a lot of them. A lot of these Explorer guys do like the modest, moderate drop, inch drop all the way around. So it looks good, especially when you add a set of wheels to it. But on top of that, you're not sacrificing your suspension geometry, throwing things out of whack. And after all, this is an SUV, so you do need it to do the things an SUV does, potentially go off-road. That's why it has all these driving modes. And on top of that, the rear sway bar, really going to provide that high-speed stability and allow the vehicle to transfer weight and keep things stable, whether you're towing a trailer or carving a couple corners with the kids in the back. So let's take it for a spin here. First thing I noticed, the brakes are touchy. I like that. I wonder what the difference in brake pad is between this and a regular Explorer. I know they do have a high performance brake pad option. But it is a nice feeling. But that's cool. This dashboard actually has the speed limit right next to the speedometer there for that friendly reminder when you're ready to get this 3-liter EcoBoost twin turbo in gear, how quickly you're exceeding the speed limit. Ride's real nice. especially for a lowered vehicle. Ooh, the auto stop did its thing. Interesting. You're gonna take your foot off it's like the F-150s. But pretty seamless when you take your foot off the brake. It'll kick back on. Obviously, you also have the option to turn it off. Let's see what happens when you put it in sport mode. Eco mode, we don't want that. Sport mode. Okay, I can tell right there, there really isn't any exhaust valves in this car, but they do pump a little bit more volume through the speakers in sport mode, definitely. And hey, I'm not complaining. That's pretty cool. Heated steering wheel feels nice too. A leather wrapped steering wheel, perforated leather. Very, you know, race inspired, but you get the comfort of a heated steering wheel too. And if you downshift using the paddle shifters while keeping it in drive, it's probably going to put you back into gear. Yeah, so if you're in drive and you use the paddle shifters, you know, to downshift or whatever, if you just stop using the paddle shifters and drive it as normal, it'll put you back in drive per se and start shifting again for you. But if you put it in manual, you'll be able to hold those gears from turn to turn. You know, if you're on some back roads having fun, you'll be able to hold that gear into the next turn. Not gonna lie, I would love to hear what this thing sounds with an exhaust system on it. We carry quite a few different exhaust options for the Explorer ST on our site, so go ahead and check them out. I am excited to hopefully get a kit on this vehicle to see, again, what an exhaust sounds like on this Explorer ST. Being a 3-liter, it is gonna be interesting to hear if it's, you know, too high pitched or anything like that. But again, definitely something I'm curious about. All right, let's see what this thing does. This thing scoots. Definitely scoots for an SUV. Holds the gear too. In sport mode, it's going to hold the gear whenever you decel, but you get back on the gas and start coasting, it'll downshift. Gas pedal is definitely a lot touchier in sport mode, but again, that's something you would expect. You switch to vehicle to drive mode and sport mode, it's going to make things a little bit touchier, and that's okay. You don't want it to not be touchy. You want to have, you know, control of the vehicle with your right foot as soon as you touch the gas pedal. All right, let's do it this time in manual mode with the paddle shifters. Very nice. And the typical response time you would expect from, you know, an automatic transmission with paddle shifters. It's not immediate, it's not the GT500, it's not dual clutch, but that's not what you're getting this vehicle for. You're not getting it for 760 horsepower, you know. You're getting it as an all-around solution. So take it out of manual mode, put it in drive, and it upshifts again. It's a great cruiser. Very responsive too. Very responsive. Back end stayed planted. Not that many super twisty roads here in South Georgia, but we're making the most of it. Let's play with some other driving modes here. We got Sport, Eco. Let's see what Eco feels like. Yeah, you have to push the gas pedal pretty darn hard in order for it to downshift or start accelerating. Again, it just kind of puts that pillow in between your foot and the the gas pedal, making you kind of think to yourself, okay, do I really want to sacrifice this gas mileage? The answer is yes. Slippery, it's for ice and snow. You got trail. Obviously, we can't do much of that right now, but I would. Oh, it's got the angles on the right-hand side as well, which are pretty cool. On the tachometer side, similar to what you would see on the Raptor. And deep snow and sand. Again, this is an all-wheel drive vehicle, so get stuck in those situations, you can get yourself out. Still comes with all-season tires, so you don't need to worry about having, you know, summer exclusive tires if you live up in the northern states and you do hit winter and snow and all the bad weather. You don't need to worry about swapping your wheels and tires out. Yeah, definitely hear that induction noise through the speakers. A little bit more aggressive downshifts too. But again, I don't mind the induction noise. Yes, it's fake, but it adds to the driving experience, and that's what it's all about. Yeah, it would be hard not to have fun driving this thing. I am liking how well it drives with our springs installed. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, it feels like a factory ride quality you would expect out of an SUV. But you know, as you lean into it into a corner or you know, coming up on a turn, it haunches down, it grips, and then it almost handles like a big Mustang, which is pretty cool. Let's see what this sound system sounds like.
Let's get down.
Don't mind me, I'm an electronic music fan. Yeah, good bass too. Yeah, this, it's hard not to want something like this. I mean, you're gonna get the best of absolutely all worlds. So now that we're at an undisclosed location, let's see what this thing does. Just a straight, you know, 0 to 60 and see what she does. All-wheel drive too. Zero wheel spin. This thing just hooks and books. All right, so we'll take it around the traffic circle here, out in the middle of nowhere, and just kind of get a feel for the springs doing their job, the rear sway bar keeping the rear end planted, and go from there. Put it in manual mode so I can lock it in gear. Boy, this thing does feel planted, even when the tires get a little wet. This is a fun car to drive. I wish we had some more twisty roads around here because it really doesn't feel as much like an SUV. Unless you have a bunch of stuff in the back that's rolling around. That's about the only thing that's reminding me this is a big hunk of metal. Well, that about wraps things up. Really excited about this 2020 Explorer ST and how we continue to develop parts for it. And as Ford keeps coming out with these new models, Steeda will keep doing their thing, and that's what we love to do. So if you like the content of this video, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and the notification bell to get that notification when we put a new video out. Comment below, let us know what you think of the Explorer ST. And if you have one, what kind of modifications you'd like to see from us at Steeda, what you would like to throw at the car. And don't forget the most important thing, speed matters.